What's happening, people? Hope everyone's well. Back again. Don't know what episode.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Do this
You
every
literally just looked on
time.
there as well.
Yep. No idea what one it is. The last one obviously was the solo one with just me. Sorry about that.
Do you know what's funny is how desperate you've been to get me to do one, and I just keep avoiding it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to do it, but we won't go into detail. But we've had stuff go on.
Yeah.
Both of us separately in our lives, and stuff that affects both of us. It's just been hectic at the moment, so we haven't had a chance between work and, like I say, a few personal problems and that. We just haven't been able to put content out, so we apologise for that. And that's what led to me doing one on my own, just to put something out there.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to do particularly well, and it wasn't really what people wanted to see, and I think they want to see us both together, so it is what it is. It was something, and all jokes aside, there's an important message in it.
Yeah.
So if people can get something from it, and I have had a couple of messages. Like I said, the views are not great, but I did get a few messages, and that's all that matters. It was me sort of telling my story of my drinking days and getting sober, a little bit of experience, strength, and hope. So yeah, hopefully.
Well, Darren said to me, because you said about first drinking was at the party, and he couldn't remember it.
No, I spoke to him about it.
Yeah, he was saying, he's like, when was that then? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, it must have been with like San.
Yeah, I
I
told him
don't know.
about
He was
it.
trying to think, and I was like, I was like, if Harry tells you, I think you'll remember it. He was like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we did have a chat about it, and he is going to be on soon, Darren. He's upcoming. There's a couple of people upcoming. We've put it out there on the Instagram a few times, but once again, if people want to come on, let us know. We're open to anyone really. People that feel like they have a story to tell, want to come and share, and try and help others, and do it.
Yeah, so I've had a few people say to me like I'm ready to do one sort of thing, or they're at a certain point, but obviously just because of what's been going on with us, I've sort of been putting it off. Or said like, yeah, okay, I'll keep it in mind. But yeah, obviously if we're sort of back to doing it again now, hopefully, then we should be good to start getting people on again. Yeah,
fingers crossed we can start uploading a bit more regular and start doing it. And obviously, like we just said, work is coming to it as well. I mentioned on the previous videos about the new job I'm doing, night shifts, so my schedule is a little bit all over the shop, and I'm doing 3 on 3 off. So it's unpredictable when we can film, but we will try and get back together. And what's become a bit of a catchphrase for us now, we've got nothing planned. I'm going to start getting t-shirts made of that. We've got nothing planned. We're just going to sit here and chat.
Yeah. It's just the way we are. It's the way we are in life.
We've got our drinks.
Yeah. Superior, Red Bull.
The issue is not to give away anything, but we're actually filming on a Monday today, because that was the only time we were able to do it. And I don't have full fat energy drinks midweek. This is my weekend treat.
It's because you're weak.
I'm weak. So this is actually
Whereas I am all day, every day, true to the brand, true to the person.
Yeah.
That sweet nectar.
I don't think it's
It's a bit of an odd one, because even though stuff's been going on, we're sort of coming into it with not really much to talk about. And obviously
not
where the
we
rest
can share.
No, that's what I mean, and obviously a lot of it's been like guests, so obviously it's been more like question based.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about this morning when we said about doing it just us two, and all of a sudden I was I don't really know where we go, because it's sort of the whole format of it changed having someone.
Yeah, and I hope people are enjoying the new way we're doing it, of having a guest and trying to question them. I know I've been under some scrutiny, interviewing style, which I still love. I find it hilarious.
That was after a night shift, wasn't it? Because you kept saying about it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But yeah, the new way of doing it, I quite like, is having a guest on and hearing new stories, being able to question and get
different
stuff
aspects
out
of life.
Yeah, it's nice. But now we're sort of going back to what it was before. We were figuring out the last time we did one together was in the old place we were filming.
Yeah.
So we haven't done one together in this setup yet.
Yeah, it seems strange. Like obviously when we started it, I think it was at 8 or 9 episodes, wasn't it, just us?
I think it was 9.
Yeah, and it seemed a bit more like that's just sort of what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's been a few episodes about that, and now we're back to it. It seems odd that it's us two again.
Well, I think because we've been winging it from the start. As we say, we don't plan anything, we just sort of do it. And we were finding our feet in them early ones before we ended up changing the format and having a guest on, and that come a bit more natural in a way.
Yeah, because it was funny, because we were saying to like guests when they were coming here that we still feel weird the minute the camera goes on.
Yeah.
It's not like it's become any more natural. It's the
Tumble dryer's just kicked in.
2 seconds. This is going to be good for the broadcast.
So unprofessional.
I thought it went up. Poor.
That is bad.
That's poor. So, good start.
But yeah, no, like you were saying, it never really gets any. I mean, maybe it does get easier. When we go back to the first one, we were so wooden. So it has got a bit better, but we're not professionals. Yeah. We're still just two blokes. So you put a camera on, and it is a bit odd.
What do you think, tumble dryer?
No. Nothing. Camera shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is still a little bit awkward after to do it. So we sort of told the guests that to relax them. When they're like, I don't know if I could do this in front of the camera, so I'll just chat. Yeah. Don't look at the camera.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about...
And we knew from the beginning there's going to be good ones and there's going to be bad ones. And there's also going to be a difference of opinion between which ones they are, even between us. I think we've got different ones that we believe is the best ones we've put out.
If I'm 100% honest, I've stopped watching.
Yeah, I know you said that before, yeah.
But I don't know if that's just down to like not liking watching myself.
Yeah. Whereas I love the sound of my own voice. It's been well documented. Yeah,
you do. You always have.
I'll hold my hands up to it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. I find it weird to watch it. But even when we done like the singing videos, and I'd come down to show Mum, and I'd have to leave the room because I couldn't sit there and watch it. And then even when we first started doing them, I was
going to leave it.
No, I've got this in my brain. When we first started doing them, Mum wanted to. I don't know what that was, by the way. We started watching them on the telly because Mum wanted to watch them. Yeah, and I fucking hated that.
We've stopped doing that now.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm not there anymore. So.
No, I tend to, at some point, because we upload them to YouTube, when I am on YouTube, I see it come up. It's quite funny, it comes up in my algorithm, and I'm like, oh shit, it's me. So I do find myself sometimes a few days later, I think, actually, let me put it on. And I do like to watch them back, because you don't really remember what's said.
Well, the thing for me, I've noticed, is I'd rather, I'm the opposite, where I don't want to watch it back, because I don't want to think too much about, am I doing something right, am I doing something wrong, I'd rather just come in fresh. Whereas if I watch it back and then think like, you look fat in that one. Or, my hair looks shit because you put it there. My head looks shit.
You've got a shit head.
Fat chin. Just I don't want to look at it and think, oh, I don't like that anymore. And it knocks that confidence I wanted to do.
Which is exactly what I do.
Yeah. I watch them back. But I think I'd rather not do that, and then hopefully it still reaches some people and helps them.
That's all that matters. And like we said, the views are the views. Perspective.
Sorry to interrupt, I've got to apologise quick. I'm going to be, for some reason, I feel a bit snotty, and I feel like it's going to be a few times that I'm going to...
If people haven't noticed by now,
I know, but I apologise for it, because it might end up being annoying, because you're bad for it anyway, and I'm already doing it as well, so...
People get the ump of mine, and I'm like, you think you're annoyed by it?
Do you know the other thing? Surprised people... Action! I'm surprised people haven't picked up that we don't use coasters, and I hope that now I've said that, people are going to see it and be like, do you guys?
Should people care?
I reckon so. I reckon there's some OCD people out there going, what, you've put a drink on the table without a coaster.
There's no rings or anything on there though, is there?
Not that I've noticed.
No. Fuck 'em.
No, I'm just no one said anything. I don't know why you get aggressive, mate. I'm just saying. I'm surprised no one's picked up on anything. Yeah. Because it is just a normal, like, living room table. Yeah. Drink, so it's not like it's immaculate, tidy.
No. Even we're not.
No, so I mean, like, it started off with it was a bit more like I wear jeans and this, and it's now I'm like just shorts, joggers, t-shirt or something. Yeah. Not shorts and joggers.
Yeah, that would be hot.
Yeah.
No, it is hard because I'm a very insecure person, so I will pick out every little individual detail, and as you say, no one's mentioned it, no one's commented, no one's messaged, no one said it to me. Anything that I look at and go, oh, I don't like that, I'm like this all the time, we've spoken about before. I've never had anyone say anything, it's just my own head. Yeah. So I do have to just get on with it.
Do you know, I think obviously, just because we were saying about like topics that we used to like try and think of something, not even before, but I think of it when we started. Yeah. Like, I've noticed that on my social media at the moment, I'm getting a lot of men's mental health videos. Right. So as far as like, it was men's mental health videos where it was just sort of like men talking, and it being that kind of thing. But then it's now shifted into, this ain't a dig at women obviously, but it's shifted into that someone asking women questions about men and their opinion, and then them sort of getting tied in knots a bit, where they're sort of saying about like, well, are women better at communicating? And it's like, yes, and it's like, why do men struggle to understand what you're talking about? Does that mean you're not? And it's that kind of thing. Where it's like, it's not genuine, but it's to like tongue tie them and get content out of it. But it started making me think like, yeah, I don't know. Like, as in, men's mental health is still just like mental. Like, it's still there. People don't know about it.
Yeah.
It's getting more recognition, but then I'm starting to think now I don't want it to end up being all men's mental health.
Yeah.
And then it takes away from anyone.
It is just mental health for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We've made that apparent. Obviously, it sort of leans towards men's mental health because we're both men.
Yeah.
That's how we identify. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a bit of that because that's our experience and what we can speak on. But we've always been... just forgot what word I was going to use. We've always made it apparent that it's for everyone. You know what I mean? That we want women to be able to watch.
Yeah,
we had Anna on before, who's a good guest, and she'll probably come back on again at some point.
Yeah.
And we may have other women again. If women want to message us and they want to come on, we'd love to have more women on.
Well, this was the thing, right? So I was watching it. There's a video popped up. I don't know why the two girls thought it was a good idea, but it was obviously them trying to seem clever, and they put a video up saying like they was talking about what they know about men, and it was when men say they're fine, they are actually just fine. You haven't got to worry about them when they say they're fine. Yeah. And it was obviously, a lot of the time that is true, but then obviously it was like someone's then edited that video to be like, it's what we say just to get away from the question. And then they were saying about like, what are women like with women, as far as they're very, they compliment each other and it's very nice, but is it real, like genuine? And a lot of girls are saying like, no, it's not, but that's how we do it. And they were saying with men, obviously we just ruin each other, take the piss out of each other. Yeah. And then I see one single comment on it, which was a bloke just saying, now you understand why we love a compliment so much. Right. And I was thinking to myself, I'm a big one for that, where I feel like men don't get complimented enough for how they look. And not in like a bad way, it's just, it's not the normal thing to do. Yeah. You don't see a man and say, your hair's looking good today. No, I know. That jumper suits you in a certain way, because that's taken... It's like a straight man that's taken.
I'll be honest, I do.
So do I. That's what I always say.
All joke, like again, being sort of serious, I get a lot of stick for being homosexual. Yeah, it's banter, but you know what I mean. I will get that because it is so out of the ordinary for someone to do that.
Well, I said that to Connor at work. I was like, that's the big one for me. Is how often a bloke will walk past me and I go, he smells fantastic.
Oh, really?
And then I always want to say, what are you wearing? Yeah. Because I love an aftershave. I don't really do deodorant. I wash and then I tend to put aftershave on. I don't have work or whatever. And then it's become like a thing where people always say, yeah, George always smells good. But it's because I like smelling nice. I like having a nice aftershave.
I get compliments on my smell, and a lot of that's down to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not even necessarily like expensive ones. Sometimes they're like Avon, sometimes they're like cheaper ends. So I've got like dupe ones or different things like that, or it's just like fresh smelling.
My whole life is coming into you going, which one do I wear? What one do I buy?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I really like that, and I've said a few times now, I've like been out and a bloke will walk past and I'll go like, fuck, he smells good. And then I said to Connor, I was like, I want it to be more normal for a bloke to be able to say, what spray have you got? That's unreal. And I said, but it's not a thing.
I used to always say, I sleep with women, but I fall in love with men. Yeah. And it was obviously half jokey.
Yeah, because you do fuck, man.
Not anymore.
No?
Not anymore, no. But no, it was like that. I used to fall in love with it. There was something about a bloke, like a geezer. I've always sort of had mates that are and I like being around the boys sometimes because of that sort of camaraderie that comes with it. Well,
it sounded weird.
Right.
I like being around a boy sometimes.
The boys, I thought I said.
I don't know. It's
either way. It's always hard. This is the point I'm making though. The second you start talking about this, and I'm guilty.
I know, I'm more a bit noncy.
Right, okay.
A boy, that's what it's
right. But yeah, I do like that, and I like the complimenting thing. And I think maybe this is controversial to say, I think most men out there will admit that when they're with their mates, there is gay humour. As far as with each other, that you'll touch each other and you make that's sort of what blokes do.
The classic little finger at the bum.
Yeah, and you sort of make jokes about it, and like if you were ever, I remember there was like a meme about it before. That if you have basically made jokes about having sex with your best friend or doing that sort of stuff, then are you even best friends? And I've always been like me with bloke. That's what it turns into. We've worked with men in the van and things like that.
Yeah.
When you're with a bloke all day, and it's that blokey humour, and it does turn like that. And most people, when they're comfortable with their sexuality, will go with it. You will obviously get some blokes who will just like, hold on a minute.
Yeah, which
It's
I
just all
like,
uptight
I like playing on
Exactly.
that because then it makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, to me, it's not. There's no offence meant. There's nothing malicious. It's just a sense of humour, and to me, there's something true about it because, like you say about complimenting a man, I've found it before when I've been in situations with a bloke. I was actually at a meeting, like one of my meetings that I go to, and there was a bloke in there that I'd never met before, and on my life, one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. Like, he had a touch of Tom Hardy there. He was a lump. He had unbelievable hair, stunning skin. He talked well, and I fell in love with him a little bit. And I've told a few people about it. Like, I'm like, this bloke was incredible. And to me, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just admiring who he is as a person, of just being like, that is a sensational man, and especially him being where he was and talking about what he was, that made him even more endearing.
Do you not think, not to get too deep on it, but do you not think, do you know, like you have them people out there that are still adamant that you can't be born gay? That's not a thing. That's something you choose it. Do you not think, like, even us as straight men sitting here saying it, you can look at a man and go, fucking hell, he's a good looking bloke?
100%.
That just shows how true it is that some men will just be born to be like, she's a good looking woman, but that's what I want to be with. That's what gets me going.
My missus gives me a lot of stick, and again, it is banter for me being gay, and she's the person in the world that should know more than anyone else that I'm not. And she knows that I'm not. But because I find myself complimenting men sometimes more, like when we're watching a film or whatever, we've got a great relationship where we can talk about these sort of things. If there's a woman on the screen, I can have like, oh my God, she's stunning. And not have her go, what? She'll either agree.
Watching her again.
Exactly. She'll either agree or disagree. Either she'll be like, really, that one? I'm like, yeah, there's something there.
She's got weird taste, doesn't she?
A little bit. I mean, look. So that goes. I'm horrendous. So yeah, she's like, okay. That's it. Yeah, so we have that sort of relationship that we can talk about stuff like that, and because she finds that I compliment the men more sometimes, that I find myself going, how good looking is he?
Yeah. And that's about, I think that sort of comes, not that they need it, but that sort of comes back to like, that is one thing I do feel, I don't think men get complimented enough. Not for like achievements and things like that, but just as a person, I think women are so much better, whether it's genuine or not, to say, that looks really good today, or you're looking really good today. Because there's, like we said before, there's so many times that I'll get ready not feeling good, and then I'll put an outfit on and I'll look in the mirror, which is very rare. Like as a man, it's very rare that I genuinely do look in the mirror at my outfit. I might like check my hair, make sure it's alright. But like, I'll put clothes on. I sort of know what it looks like. I'm not one of them where I'm looking, but it's just days where I feel like I've got to have a look. And then I'll have a look, and I'm so disappointed because I'm just like, you look like shit today.
See, I look, and that's what I was going to say. Mine is always negative connotations. I will, anytime, like even today, when I put clothes on, I'll do my hair, and I will have a little look, and then I'm like that in the mirror, trying to breathe in, and I'm like paranoid. When I'm walking down the street, I'm a nightmare for looking at a car window. As I'm walking past, I'll side eye because I try and stay this way on, where the wind's coming at me and it's blowing my belly. You get the flat bit of jumper, and it's clinging to that fat bit, and I'm like, ugh. When I catch it in the wind, and I'm trying to breathe in, it's a constant battle.
I don't know, I think I said before, but like Jack, my mate Jack, he's like such a good yes man to have. He's one of them that's, and it was like one night, not that he'd even remember it, but it was when I was still at mum and dad's, and I bought, because I always get the same jeans from the same place, and then I'll, like a typical bloke, let the fucking crutch go on, and then I'll get new ones. But I bought them, and sometimes it'll take, because I get like a stretch skinny kind of thing. I prefer them a bit like almost tailored rather than skinny, but they turned up like too tight. And I was like, fucking, I'm thinking like, not even just like hating myself, but I'm like, just the shape of me, it doesn't work. I've got really skinny jeans on, I'm fat up here, you know, looking like a bird.
Top heavy.
Yeah, you do just look like a bird, don't you? The bird's got the little legs and they just end up. And
like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, and I remember like putting them on thinking like, didn't have nothing else to wear, didn't really have clothes at the time, and Jack come round before we went out, and I said to him like, that he's like a bit too skinny, and he was like, no, they look good. And I was like, I don't know, I might have to change them, and I was like, I really don't know, and he's like, no, honestly, they look really good, mate. And all that was him just, little compliment, never thought about it for the rest of the night. Went out, no one bat an eyelid, no one said, like there might have been people that see me and thought, yeah, that's a bit, but no one said it.
It's irrelevant. Like,
once he had said that, and I thought, oh, if you say so, and I've gone out, had a normal night, never thought about it again. No one, I never thought, because if I didn't do that and I went out of them, anyone that looked my way, I'd have gone, and I'd have think, they're looking at that.
Yeah.
I look horrible, I look this. And obviously I'm quite comfortable being big and that, I'm not bothered about fat, but there's just days when I'm like, I don't want to put my fat on other people.
Yeah.
As stupid as that sounds, I don't want to wear a top where, like, I've seen other people that are a big person, and I'm like, it's not nice to look at. As horrible as that is, that sounds really horrible.
No, and I think most people, if they're being honest, will feel the same way. I know, like, you do look.
It's just, I don't think, like, as in if it's like, I don't know, do you know, like Dad tucks his tops in? That looks fine.
Yeah.
It looks no different. You can see his belly and that, but it looks fine. I just think sometimes when you see someone, their top's a little bit up, or their trousers are falling down, that kind of thing. Not just general outfits, but like that kind of thing. Is when I think, it just doesn't.
But then maybe there's a little bit of jealousy there, because I've got to be honest, part of me does respect it, because when I see it, my initial reaction is the same as you, and I'm like, come on, mate, oh, you have to put the top on us a bit bigger. But then after a while, I think, you know what, fair play, because he clearly don't care that he doesn't have that insecurity that I have.
Maybe it's different because I am big.
Yeah.
And I probably think about it more.
You're looking like you two are.
I'm looking at them going, I know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
I know that you feel confident and comfortable at the moment. You probably wasn't feeling that when you left the house.
I think it's interesting for us to talk about insecurities and that, because people that know us will know how much stick we give other people. That's our thing. And we love it back. People can say we don't. I love it back.
Yeah. If it's done right.
This is the thing.
That's my only problem. I will buy it if it's not done in the right way.
If it's not funny.
Because then it's almost like, and it is me being a dick, because it's a bad trait in my personality, but if someone does it in a way that, like you say, it's not funny, or it's boring, I then will get my back up about it, because I'm like, you're getting it twice as worse now, because you wanted to do this, and that's a bad trait of mine.
I think you want to be funny and clever with it. So when someone nails me with the worst thing you could possibly say about my personal life, but in a really funny way, I can't help but laugh. It's instinctual, because if it's funny, and I'll be like, oh, genius. Whereas if someone does it and it's not funny, and I'm just like, that was just out of order and there wasn't anything clever about it. So it does change it. But it goes to show, even us who live that sort of lifestyle, we have insecurities. We know each other's, which makes it even better for us to give each other stick. Because I'm able to go, well, I know for a fact that you don't like this, so I'm going to jump on it, and you do the same thing back to me. And again, we do it in a way that's funny, so that I don't think we've ever really fallen out because of it.
Not since we were kids.
Well, not really.
But even then, that weren't over insecurity, that just be being a dick to each other.
Yeah, but I think now, you've nailed me with a few things that's caught me out. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh mate, Jake done me one, I'll share it on here, I don't think he'll mind. One of my favourite ones that sticks in my head was when I got diagnosed with a wet brain. So, again, anyone who doesn't know what wet brain is, alcoholic dementia and all of that, but that's like the street name for it, is wet brain. And there was a load of different jokes, you'd made a few, and everyone, I was joining in, we were trying to come up with different names for it, like damp nut, and things like that, and saturated cranium and whatever. It was coming up to Christmas time, and Jake messaged me saying, oh, I'm going Christmas shopping. He was like, I'm going to get you a present. We've never bought each other presents. So I was like, what are you talking about? Give me a present. He went, yeah, I'm going to get you a towel. I was like, a towel? Why are you getting me a towel? And he's like, yeah, so you can wipe down your wet brain like that. And it done me. I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have done. Didn't see it coming, and it caught me out. To me, that's funny and clever. I'm not like, how dare you? Really, this thing that I'm suffering with, you know what I mean? That to me was clever and funny enough for me to laugh and be like, mate, that done me. He apologised instantly, he felt bad. And I'm like, no, that was funny. So that's what I mean by I like it back as well. I enjoy that thing. But that doesn't mean that we don't have insecurities and have our own issues.
Yeah. I think men just hide it better, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, not hide it, just ain't as vocal about it. But then I also think there's a lot of, and this is me saying it like I know, but deep down I just have a feeling that there's more insecurities about women that we don't even know about.
Oh,
do you know, like there's the ones on the surface that are obvious, which is like weight and hair, makeup, the way they dress, who they're talking to, who they're with, what they listen to, what they want. Like they're all like the obvious ones that sort of work both ways. But then there'd be so much unrelatable stuff with women that we don't even know. They're sitting real deep down. I
think again it is the not being vocalised, because like a girl can go out wearing what she's wearing and have other girls look her up and down, not say anything, they don't know her, but they'll just look and sort of touch and giggle. Like, that would kill me. Whereas a bloke would go, what are you wearing? And that to me, I can go, what? What's wrong with this? And he goes, oh, you look like this, or you look like that. And I have to front it and like have jab back and forth and things like that. So that doesn't bother me, because it's on the nose. Someone's outright giving me shit for it, and I can reflect or do what I need to do. Whereas having blokes look up, that would hurt. I'll be like, oh. That would affect me more. So I think sometimes it is harder for women because they don't say it. It comes across more bitchier.
Yeah, there's definitely been a few times when I've been out and I can see people looking my way and laughing. and my brain will naturally go to, are they laughing about me, or is that something else? Have I done something?
Yeah.
And then I feel myself overcompensating, trying to sort of catch their eye to be like, and see whether they react. But yeah, it's just, I think just as people, it's so hard.
Well, talking about like what we're wearing and the way we act and things like that. Pardon me. Again, people that know me would know that I've always pretty much been like a 60-year-old man. And with the music I listen to country music. I used to have my hair up in a sort of 50s style quiff. I wore jeans and a jumper or a shirt, old school. I used to get shit for it because it wasn't the style of today.
Well, especially jeans jumper, but then it was jeans jumper shoes.
Yeah, I don't mind winkle pickers. Yeah. So to me, I was just old school. That was what I wore. That was the music I listened to. That was who I was, and people knew that. And then I had almost like a quarter-life crisis because at 25, 26 maybe, because it might have been more when I got sober, next thing you know, I'd shaved my head. I had this buzz cut thing, I had wireless headphones in, I had a tracksuit, and I was listening to grime.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember? And people like looking at me because all of a sudden I looked completely different. People ask what I'm listening to, and I'm like, listening fucking, that Santan Dave.
Yeah.
I've got him going, we strut him, and he's from the same place as me, so I'm just giving him a go. Next thing you know, I've got all sorts of grime going on, and I liked it. I got into it a little bit, and it probably was a bit of a quarter-life crisis because that was a complete change in how I looked, how I acted. Going from this sort of old school gentleman to sort of, I'm sort of getting into this sort of stuff. But I think it come to me being more open-minded in sobriety. Yeah. I gave more things a go.
Yeah, we've definitely, I wouldn't say clashed, but it is clashed. And we've definitely clashed through the years over different things, like opinions on things.
Yeah.
And I still struggle quite a lot. Because like even this episode probably sounds a bit opinionated the way I've said things, but that's the one thing I've always given myself is I'm so fucking open to everything.
Yeah.
As far as like, like as in literally everything, whether it's who you want to be with, what you want to be, who you want to be, like all the new things, let's say, that have come to light. Obviously they've been there for the whole of time, but the things that are now in the media for like being bad or being weird, and I find it fascinating, and not in a like bad way, not like I'm looking like, oh, that's weird. I'm just fascinated by the actual, like the chemistry, like the brain chemistry behind it, of how that works. But then I feel like, not to like dig you out, but you and others have not been as open, maybe because of like the few years between us when we were younger. Not now, but like when we were younger, I'm saying, I think like even from Darren to you to me, it's become more normal. So then from me to like the next generation again, it's even more normal, to the point that kids nowadays, that will just be normal. Like, well, I hope it will just be normal life and people can just get on with it. But I do find, not with you, but I do find myself clashing with people when they make a comment.
I do
Similar to like it not being funny, that kind of thing, when they make a joke, oh, well, I'm going to identify as this, and I'm like, oh, it's so dumb. Yeah. It's such a shit joke, it's pointless.
I do find myself, a lot of it comes down to me being too old, that I don't really care. I mean, I don't watch the news, I don't have social media, I don't keep up to date with anything. And a lot of that is by choice, but I also just don't care. I ain't got the time in my life to concentrate on stuff other than the stuff I've got going on in my life. Yeah. So I find when people get opinionated about stuff, I find myself going, I'll be honest, I'm not bothered. You're probably right. Sometimes I'll give in the conversation, go, because me and you are here today, I'm just going to agree with what you're saying and just move on. Because I haven't got the time or the energy to spend on most things that are going on in the world. Yeah. And that's not me, that might sound harsh.
No, I don't. I think it's a good way to be. I think it's one of two ways. You either don't give a shit and you get on with it, you do what you fucking want, or you can look into that and understand it. Yeah. Like, how do you want to be seen? How do you want to be addressed? How does this work? How does that like?
Well, what I used to be more like in my drinking days was quite a confrontational person. So what I would find was I would always root for the underdog in a way. So I would side with the opposite to who I was with. And what I mean by, I don't understand all the left wing, right wing, whatever the situation is, when we're talking about a controversial subject. If somebody, George, mate, what has gotten into you? If someone's talking about a controversial subject, whatever way they're leaning, if they're leaning really hard that way, I'll find myself wanting to defend the other side. Because I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to give specifics because I don't want to be too, but you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I'll find myself defending the other side. Well, I don't know, because of this, and I find myself, always say I've got splinters up my arse because I'm sitting on the fence, you know what I mean? And I'm a bit like, well, I don't know, and I just find myself, when someone's really, well, this and that, and I don't like that, and I can't have this, I'll find myself wanting to go on the other side. I go, hold on a minute, what about this and what about that? Because, I don't know, because it's none of their business, that person. Yeah. So I used to find myself aggravated by it. Whereas now I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my breath on someone.
I've found a few times that I've spoken to people that are non-binary, like specifically non-binary, and rather than being like shying away from it and just trying to act like nothing's there, I've just sort of gone straight to the point of like, has it always been that way? Have you told your family? How did that go? Like, and I find that people around me a little bit like, oh my god, and people have said to me that you can't ask that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but the person I'm talking to, they haven't moaned at any point. They've not said like, actually, I'd rather. And obviously, I'll say it and say like, if you don't want to talk about it, we don't know, because they're actually like happy to educate someone on it.
Yeah.
They're happy to be like, yeah, I'll tell you. This is how it is for me, and that sort of comes back to why we're doing this. Is like we've said before, what we're saying isn't right. It's not the way it is. It's just who we are as men and what we've been through. From our personal opinion, this is how it is for me, and that's why I like the fact that people can sit there and listen to us do that. But then I also like to sit there and listen to someone else tell me that, and that's similar to why we have the guests on. And obviously, we haven't had a guest so far that is like part of that.
Yeah, because my only experience, because I haven't really met as many of the different categories that there are, so...
Do you know what, sorry to interrupt, do you know what's funny is how carefully we're trying to tread around what to say and how to call it.
Unfortunately, I'm not educated on it enough
and
to
I'm
know
not fully,
what I should say.
That's what I mean, that's why I say they and them, and, but it's like, I don't know whether to say, is it non-binary, trans, like so many different things, but that's what I like to learn, and like you say, for you, it's what I'll stay away from it.
Yeah, because I don't want to insult anyone, like, unintentionally by saying the wrong thing. But I was going to say, the only sort of categories that I've been friends with a lot of black people, and I've been friends with a lot of gay people. So, as in gay man, gay woman, like that's what it was at the time. So I've had intense conversations with them about it because I find myself intrigued. And again, it comes from a very sincere place, and they can tell that. They're friends of mine that I have had those conversations because I want to know. I will never ever know what it feels like to have to live the life that they've led. You know what I mean? And to have to deal with what they have to deal with on a daily basis. So I find myself going, what is it like? You know what I mean? You've got to go down the shop as a black man. Like friends of mine, and I've sort of said, what is it like? You've got to go down the shop, and they've been honest with me and told me that's the closest I can come to experiencing it, is just from their words. And that alone sounds horrendous. So I think that is why I find myself defensive, because I've had those sort of conversations and I'm like, oh, I don't even like hearing it, let alone living it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've made jokes to people, like nasty jokes to people, that like more gay jokes, where I've said it to people that we knew, and I've made jokes that I now regret and things like that. And I think a lot of that comes down to just learning, being immature. But like it's so deep, and that's where like I'm not trying to get in the middle of anything or preach anything, but like, I mean, even as far as like the gay people are now having a thing, or some of them, small community of them, are like having a thing with the trans people and the non-genders and stuff, because they feel like they've worked really hard to get to where they are, and now things are being taken away because of what they're doing. And it's just like, it doesn't matter where you are or who you are, other than a single straight white male. I don't think you can win in this world. Like, because it just seems like, even obviously we have our struggles, and I'm not saying like we're not part of it, but I feel like it's a single like straight white male or female, there's no doubt we have it easier than everyone. I
think it's a shame, because at the end of the day we're all human beings, so we should sort of be there for each other, but unfortunately as humans we're animals, we are mammals, and we're tribal, so you do unfortunately find your own, stick with your own a little bit, defend your own. So that, I think that will always happen, is that there's always going to be certain segregation, because like you say, with gay men, they find themselves sticking with their own. Lesbian women find themselves doing it. Now you've got, again, I'm going to start naming it, but all these different types of categories of people and how they identify, which is fine. But people do find themselves sticking to their own, not liking what they don't understand on the other side. So it's just, unfortunately, human nature for people just to be tribal and to buddy up with their own.
That's why I'd say that the one thing I'd preach to people is to always be open-minded and always willing to learn. Because rather than, you could, and that's why I say it comes back to whether you're going to be, look, I don't care, it doesn't bother me, I don't want to know, I'm just living my life, you live yours, that's fine. But if you are going to get involved, then it comes down to you've got to try and understand, and you've got to learn.
Yeah, I think you've got two choices: either stay out of it altogether, which is sort of what I do, or if you want to have a say and be involved in it, you have to educate yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Which I think I like. I haven't done it a lot, but I like to do.
Yeah, you want to know what.
And like I said, obviously, I'm not interested in like relationships or nothing. Like I said before, but I do find myself going on Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
And I like everyone. I just smash through it, use all my likes, whatever. I haven't done it in a while, obviously, like when I was a bit younger. And I would come across a lot of either it was blokes on there that have put down that they're female or whatever, and you'd match them, or it'd be like non-binary things like that. And I'd always message them and say, "Can I ask some questions?"
Yeah.
There was a few girls I spoke to that was fully trans. Like obviously, was male, but is now female, and I've had conversations with them about how was it talking to your family and things like that. And I was laughing before with someone. It might have been Dan, to be fair. I just said, I just find it fascinating. Most people would see it and get weirded out by that. I said, but for me, it's I just.
It's a completely different way of life.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm like, where else would I be able to do that? I can't go out on the street and ask around a person, but if I could match with someone, because obviously Tinder's become more of a place now where you can put it down looking for friends, looking for a relationship. Right, okay. So like, some of them would be, they're just looking for friends, but they're on there because they'll be on both. They'll be like, I'm looking for male and female friends, like, so they're down, they'll put themselves down as bi or whatever. I don't know what the options are in it now. And then I'd like everyone, I'd match with them and then have this conversation. And it probably goes nowhere else, but it's so many different ideas from different people and different ways of living that it fascinates me. And I like it.
I find myself doing it more through like documentaries and things like that, and not even just in the subjects we're talking about. I enjoy a documentary about most things, whether I'm into it or not. Obviously, if I'm into it, if it's football or boxing or someone specifically that I know, then that goes without saying I want to watch it and I want to learn more and see more about that person or that subject. But I find myself watching ones that I have no idea about, just to try and fill my brain with someone else.
Yeah.
Just to sort of see, and it goes one of two ways. Either I go, this ain't for me, I've turned them off. This ain't for me, I'm not enjoying it, I'm not getting it. And then there's other ones where I'm sort of into this a little bit now.
Yeah.
And it is just an education of life and people and how they live. And obviously I know people love the crime documentaries and things like that. People are almost addicted to them, which is fine. Watch whatever you want. And I sort of get why, because other than the sort of grossness of it, that people like how sinister it is, I think sometimes it's like, but what's up with that person to make them want to do that?
Why is it?
Even that's a thing of itself. These serial killers and that, a lot of them, if you watch the documentaries, you will see a bit of a backstory. I'm not condoning it, but you know what I mean? You see why they've ended up being the way they are. So everybody has their own story. There's a reason I act and talk the way I do now. Yeah. Because of the life I've had, the experiences I've been through, that has made me where I am. And we can continue through life another 10 years, and I might be a totally different person by then. Yeah. Because of whatever happens in that time. So I am fascinated by life and how other people live.
Yeah, so I think the reason I'm sort of so open to it, I guess, is because, like we said before, I've never been bullied, but I know what it feels like to be like on the other end of it, where you don't feel part of it and you feel a bit outcast. Yeah. So I think, that's probably what shaped me to be more like this now. As we've grown up and gone through school, I'm sort of like, I know I can be a certain person and have friends, but at the same time, I'm interested to see why they are how they are or who they are. And well,
have you ever been on like a train or something and you drive past like a big row of houses and you find yourself looking and there's people living in every one of those houses, there's just lives going on. People are just coming home from school, kids are making their dinner with their parents, there's people that have had a day off sick. Yeah. There's just so many different lives and stories going on as you go past this row of houses and things like that, or any street that you're on. Cars are always whizzing down the roads, going to work, from work, going to meet friends. Sometimes I find myself going into that sort of, I've got all of this stuff going on, and this is just here.
Well, I was just about to say, my one, rather than it being local, is and it won't nothing will trigger it, which is a bit out of nowhere. I'll just think like there's people on the other side of the world just doing something right now. Like, obviously, that's what I mean. So now it's daytime for us, and I'm thinking there's probably someone in Australia that's asleep. That they might have a big day ahead. Yeah. They might have a new job they're going to, or
there's so much life.
It's crazy.
8 billion? I don't want to get that wrong. Is it 8 billion?
I don't know.
7 billion? Something like that. that alone, just that's what sort of fascinates me. It's just how much stuff is going on, and even like we spoke about at the very beginning, the stuff going on in our life, which compared to some people is horrendous. Some people would hear the stuff that we've got going on and be in awe of it. Wow, that you're dealing with that. But there's also other people going, that's it. That's what you're doing. You think that's hard. You know what I mean? There's levels to everything. And there's always someone that's struggling more than we are. There's always people that have got it much better than we have. It's just life's just going on around us all the time.
I definitely think that is a big part of not opening up.
Yeah.
For some people, is you look at it and you go,
I don't want to complain.
I've got it nowhere near as bad as them. I don't want to tell them that.
Yeah, I definitely had that going to my meetings. That once I did start opening up, I found myself, I'd hear other people's stories, and I unfortunately was one of those that would listen and be like, I ain't that bad. Okay, you want to hear mine? But then I'd also hear other people and be like, wow, they've been through that and they're still standing it out. And I'd be amazed by it and I'd respect the hell out of them. And I'm like, I thought my life was bad until I heard that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's always levels, but then you find the beautiful thing about those meetings is you find a common ground.
Yeah.
Rather than concentrate on what's irrelevant to you, you just take the stuff that's relatable.
Yeah.
And use it for good. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard some incredible stories in there that will stay with me for the rest of my life, and I've left the room almost a different person. I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but some of the things you hear, you think, I'll never be the same after hearing that story. That's changed my opinion on something, or it's going to change the way that I do this or talk about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to think that we have an impact on people when we do these. Not saying a massive impact, you know what I mean? Because once again, we're just two blokes chatting. So I'm not trying to act like we're trying to change the world with our words, you know what I mean? Like, we're just chatting. But at the same time, there might be something, of the 45 minutes or so that we do, there might be one thing that a person goes, oh, that resonated with me.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Yeah, definitely.
It's that time. Are we going to wrap this into a part 2?
Yeah, can do.
If we, we'll sort of put this one out when we put it out. And then, we'll do a part 2 version of it, which is just the two of us before we start getting guests back in again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll leave it there for this week.
Yeah, and then we'll just leave it rolling.
Yeah. The next one, stick around, because there might be something that you don't want to miss out on. There might be something really good in the next episode.
Or it might be shit.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be really
That's more
poor.
likely, isn't it?
And then you'll watch the first one and go, they killed it in the first 45.
Yeah, ruined it.
That was poor. Should
Run
have
out.
left it at one part.
But that's not going to happen, because the next part, I'm going to do something outlandish. And if you're not around for it, you're going to miss out on something crazy. Alright? Even you don't know what it is. But I've got something planned.
It's going to be so fucking disappointing for people.
The worst thing is, I only got a couple of weeks to try and think of something.
No.
We're talking about carrying on, so I'm sat there now going, what am I do? But there'll be something, so don't miss out. Make sure you come back. Alright? Love you all the bits. Take care of yourself, people.